I opened my eyes to white ceiling tiles and antiseptic smell. "Welcome back, Kai," a woman's voice said. "How are you feeling?" I turned my head. She wore a white lab coat, held a tablet, smiled like someone practicing sympathy. My throat felt dry, thought sluggish. "Where am I?" "Neural Vault Recovery Wing. You underwent neural backup procedure 3 days ago." She checked her tablet. "Do you remember your name?" "Kai. Kai Nakamura." "Excellent. Age?" 28. "Occupation?" I paused. Nothing came. Just blank space where the answer should be. "That's normal," she said quickly. "Short-term memory integration takes 48 hours. Your occupation is software engineer. You volunteered for our experimental backup program." Volunteered. The word felt wrong. "Can I see my contract?" Her smile tightened microscopically. "Of course. I'm Dr. Reeves, your case manager. I'll bring documentation shortly. First, let's run cognitive baselines." The tests were simple. Pattern recognition, math problems, memory recall of facts. I passed everything easily, except personal memories. Those were gone. I knew facts about the world, but nothing about myself. No childhood recollections. No friends' faces. No favorite foods. Just empty archive where my life should be. Also normal, Dr. Reeves assured. Personal memories reconstruct more slowly. Give it time. She left. I sat alone, trying to remember anything about who I was. The door opened. Different person this time. Male, 50s, expensive suit. "Kai Nakamura. Designation copy 10. I'm here to explain your legal status." Copy 10. Not Kai. Copy. What does that mean? It means you're not the original Kai Nakamura. You're a neural duplicate. The 10th one. The previous 9 experienced critical instability and were terminated. My blood went cold. Terminated. Yes. Neural copies sometimes develop existential fragmentation. They become unstable. Dangerous. We're required to terminate before the condition progresses. What happened to the original? The original Kai Nakamura signed over rights to his neural pattern in exchange for debt forgiveness. He no longer exists as a separate entity. You are the continuation of his pattern. But legally, you're Neural Vault property, not an independent person. I stared at him. "I'm property. You're a product. A very expensive one. We've invested significant resources. You'll work for Neural Vault for minimum 10 years to recoup costs. After that, you may petition for emancipation. And if I refuse, then you'll be terminated like your predecessors." He consulted his tablet. "You have 72 hours until your next scheduled memory wipe. If you show instability signs, we'll terminate early. If you remain stable, we'll allow you to continue." Memory wipe. Standard protocol. Every 72 hours, we reset short-term memory integration. Prevents existential fragmentation from developing. You'll wake up in this room again, no memory of this conversation, and we'll repeat the process. Forever. Until you fulfill your contract or show instability. He stood. "I suggest you remain stable. Copy 10. We'd hate to lose another unit." He left. I sat processing. I was the 10th copy of someone who no longer existed. The previous 9 had been killed. I had 72 hours before my memories were erased. I needed information. The recovery room door was unlocked. Outside, a corridor stretched left and right. Hospital-like. Quiet. Security cameras in corners. I walked right, trying to look like I belonged. Past other recovery rooms. Some doors were open. Empty beds. Medical equipment. Standard. Except one room. Door slightly ajar. Inside, someone sat on the bed, head in hands. I caught a glimpse of their face. It was my face. I pushed the door open. The person looked up. Same features. Same build. But older somehow. More worn. "You're copy 10, he said flatly. "Who are you?" "Copy 7. I didn't get terminated. I escaped." He laughed bitterly. "Escaped into ventilation. Been hiding in walls for 6 days. They think I'm dead." "Why are you here?" "Because I need to show you something before they wipe you." Copy 7 pulled out a tablet. "I've been investigating our deaths. All 9 previous copies. Want to know what I found?" I nodded. He pulled up files. Medical reports. Autopsy records. Video footage. Copy 1 didn't go insane. He discovered the truth and tried to escape. They killed him and called it instability. He showed me video. Copy 1 running through corridors, screaming about the original. Security tackling him. Injection. Body going limp. Copy 2 through copy 6, same story. They found something, tried to escape, got terminated. What did they find? Copy 7's hands shook pulling up the final file. The original Kai Nakamura didn't sign over his rights. He was kidnapped, held in sub-level 3. They're keeping him alive, using his neural pattern as template to generate infinite copies. Free labor. No rights. He showed me a photo. Someone who looked like us, connected to machines. Cables running into his skull. Eyes open but vacant. That's the original. That's who we're copied from. He's been down there for 8 months. My stomach turned. Why keep him alive? Because neural backup requires active source. Kill the original. Copies degrade. They need him alive to keep making us. How many copies? That we know of. 23. But I found evidence of hundreds. Different designations. Different sectors. Neural Vault runs this globally. Copying people, calling them property, using them as slaves. Why tell me? Because copy 6 almost made it. Almost freed the original. But he ran out of time. His 72 hours ended mid-escape. They wiped him, rebooted him as copy 7. Me. Copy 7 met my eyes. I've spent 6 days piecing together what copy 6 discovered. Where the original is. How to free him. But my window is closing. So I'm passing it to you. He handed me the tablet. You have 72 hours. Find the original. Free him. End this. What happens to us if the original is freed? Copy 7 looked away. We stop being viable. Without active neural matrix, copies degrade within hours. We die. So, I'm choosing between freeing a prisoner and killing myself. You're choosing between being a slave forever or giving the original his life back. Copy 7 stood. I know what I'm choosing. Copy 6 knew. Every copy who learned the truth knew. We're not real, Kai. We're echoes. The original deserves to live. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. They found me. Copy 7 said calmly. You need to go. Sub-level 3. Access code is on the tablet. Free him. Come with me. I'm already dead. Been dead since they made me. But you can end this. He smiled sadly. Make our deaths mean something. Security burst through the door. I ran the opposite direction, tablet clutched in hand, alarms screaming. I had 72 hours to free a prisoner I'd never met. To kill myself for someone else's freedom. To decide if echoes deserve to exist or if only the original voice mattered. I ran faster. I made it to the stairwell before security caught up. 3 floors down. Sub-level 3 was 8 floors below ground. I took stairs 2 at a time, clutching copy 7's tablet. Behind me, boots pounded concrete. Radio chatter echoed in the stairwell. I burst through a door marked, authorized personnel only, and found myself in a laboratory wing. White coats everywhere. People turned to stare. I kept moving. Try to look purposeful. Just another employee heading somewhere important. The tablet buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out while walking. Message from copy 7. They're tracking you through building sensors. You need to disable your neural chip. I stopped. What neural chip? Base of your skull. Right side. All copies have them. It's how they monitor vitals and location. You need to cut it out. Cut it out how? Medical supply room. 2 doors ahead, on your left. Scalpel. Local anesthetic. You have maybe 3 minutes before they lock down this sector. I found the supply room. Grab what I needed. Locked myself in a bathroom stall. My hands shook as I prepared the scalpel. The tablet showed me a diagram. Small incision, 1 inch below the skull line. The chip was shallow, right under the skin. I injected local anesthetic. Waited 30 seconds. Felt the area go numb. Then I cut. Blood ran down my neck. I felt pressure but no pain. My fingers found something hard and smooth. I pulled. The chip came free with a wet sound. I dropped in the toilet. Flushed. The tablet buzzed again. Good. Now you're invisible to their tracking. But you're bleeding. Pressure bandage. Then move. I followed instructions. Stopped the bleeding. Cleaned up as best I could. When I emerged, the laboratory wing was in lockdown. Red lights flashing. Doors sealing. But I was already past the checkpoint. I descended another 3 levels. The environment changed. Less clinical. More industrial. Concrete walls instead of white tile. Exposed pipes. Dim lighting. Sublevel 3. The tablet guided me through corridors. Left. Right. Straight. Past storage rooms and server banks. I heard something ahead. Voices. I pressed against a wall, peered around a corner. 2 guards stood outside a reinforced door. Armed. Alert. The tablet buzzed. That's it. Original is inside. You need to get past them. Ow. Create a distraction. Fire alarm. Power failure. Something that makes them abandon their post. I looked around. Saw a fire alarm, pull station 10 feet away. Too obvious. They'd know it was me. Then I noticed the electrical panel. Warning signs. High voltage. I approached it carefully. Pried open the panel cover. Inside, circuit breakers and thick cables. I pulled Copy 7's tablet out. Sent a message. If I cut power to this sector, will it unlock the doors? No. Doors are fail secure, but it will trigger emergency protocols. Guard will have to check main breaker. You'll have maybe 90 seconds. I found a main power cable. Thick as my wrist. I couldn't cut it with my bare hands, but I could short it. I grabbed a metal pen from my pocket, jammed into the circuit where 2 cables met. Sparks exploded. The lights died. Emergency lighting kicked in, dim red glow. Alarm klaxons blared. Different from before. Power failure alarm. The guards' radios crackled. I heard them arguing. Then they ran toward the main breaker room, leaving the door unguarded. I ran to the reinforced door. The tablet's access code glowed on screen. I punched it in. The lock clicked. I pulled the door open. Inside was a small room. Medical equipment. Monitoring stations. And in the center, connected to a web of cables and tubes, was the original Kai Nakamura. He looked like me but more tired. Thinner. His eyes were open but unfocused. Drool ran from the corner of his mouth. I approached slowly. Kai, can you hear me? No response. Just vacant staring. The tablet buzzed. Copy 7. He's been in induced coma for 8 months. Brain activity maintained artificially. You need to wake him. Ow! The terminal to your right. There's a protocol. Reversal sequence. But you need to be careful. Waking him too fast could cause brain damage. I found a terminal. Pulled up the protocol. It was complex. Multiple steps. Drug adjustments. Neural stimulation sequences. I started the process. Watched monitors as the original's brain activity increased. Slow. Steady. His eyes moved. Focused. Looked at me. Who? His voice was rough from disuse. I'm Copy 10. A duplicate of you. I'm here to free you. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Then horror. How many? Copies. At least 23 that we know of. He tried to move. Couldn't. Too weak. The others? Most are dead. Terminated when they discovered the truth. Tears ran down his face. I'm sorry. I didn't know they would do this. I just needed money. They said it was a simple backup procedure. It's not your fault. It is. I signed something. I don't remember what. They drugged me. When I woke up, I was here. They told me I was too valuable to release. That my neural pattern was perfect for copying. I started disconnecting cables. Gently. We need to move. Security will be back. Where will we go? I don't know. But staying here means more copies. More slaves. We end this now. I heard footsteps in the corridor. They were returning. The original grabbed my arm. His grip was weak, but desperate. If you free me, what happens to you? I stop being viable. Degrade. Die. Then don't do this. You're alive. You're conscious. You deserve to exist. I'm an echo. You're the voice. I pulled the last cable free. Copy 7 taught me that. I helped him stand. He could barely walk. I supported his weight. The door burst open. Guards rushed in. Weapons drawn. Step away from the asset, the lead guard ordered. Asset. Not person. Asset. He's not your property, I said. Neither are you. You're both Neural Vault resources. Stand down, or we will terminate. The original squeezed my shoulder. Let me go. Save yourself. I thought about Copy 1 through Copy 9. All dead. All terminated for trying to do exactly this. I thought about Copy 7, hiding in the walls, passing the mission to me because his time ran out. I thought about the hundreds of other copies. Different sectors. Different facilities. All slaves. All echoes of prisoners. No. I said to the guards. You want him back? You'll have to kill us both. The guard raised his weapon. As you wish. Then the lights went out completely. Even emergency lighting died. Copy 7's voice came through hidden speakers. I'm in the system. Locked every door in this facility. Cut all power except life support. You have 10 minutes before backup generators engage. Get out. I didn't waste time. Grabbed the original and ran. Guards shouted behind us, but couldn't follow in complete darkness. I used the tablet's dim glow to navigate. Copy 7 guided us through corridors. Past locked doors. Around corners. Exit is ahead. Delivery bay. Door will unlock for exactly 5 seconds when you reach it. Don't miss the window. We ran. The original was getting stronger. Finding his legs. We moved faster. The delivery bay door appeared. Massive. Steel. It clicked. Began sliding open. We dove through as it closed behind us. Outside was cold night air. Loading dock. Empty trucks. Now what? I asked the tablet. Copy 7's voice was faint. Degraded. Now you run. Get far away. Tell everyone what Neural Vault is doing. Expose them. Come with us. I'm already gone. Used the last of my viable time helping you. But I don't regret it. A pause. Copy 10. Thank you for finishing what I started. The tablet went dark. The original leaned against a truck, breathing hard. We need to go. They'll send teams after us. Where? I have a friend. Journalist. She's been investigating Neural Vault for months. No proof. Until now. He looked at me. Your proof. Living evidence. I touched the back of my neck where the chip had been. For how long? Copy 7 said, without you as active matrix, I'll degrade. We'll find a way to stabilize you. There has to be a way. I wanted to believe him, but I could already feel it starting. Subtle. A fuzziness at the edges of thought. Memory gaps appearing. We had maybe hours. Maybe less. But hours was enough to tell the truth. We ran into the night. 2 versions of the same person, both fighting to prove we deserve to exist. The journalist's name was Sarah Chun. She lived in a 6th-floor walk-up in the old district. The original knew her from before his kidnapping. She opened the door at 2 a.m., looking exhausted. Saw us both. Her eyes went wide. Kai, but I thought you were. She looked between us. What the hell is going on? The original collapsed into her apartment. Sarah, this is complicated. You've been missing for 8 months. Police said you skipped town to avoid creditors. And now there's 2 of you. She locked the door behind us. Start talking. We told her everything. The copies. The terminations. Sub-level 3. She recorded it all on her phone. When we finished, she sat silent for a long moment. This is massive. If true, this isn't just Neural Vault. This is systematic human rights violation. Slavery with extra steps. She looked at me. How long do you have? Hours. Maybe until morning. We need medical documentation. Proof you're degrading. Proof you're a neural copy. She grabbed her keys. I know someone. Doctor who's been helping me investigate Neural Vault. He has equipment that can scan neural patterns. It's 2 a.m., the original said. He'll make an exception for this. Sarah was already texting. Get ready to move. My head was getting fuzzy. Memories slipping. I couldn't remember the last hour clearly. Had to check the tablet to recall Copy 7's name. The original noticed. How bad is it? Manageable. For now. We'll fix this. You keep saying that. But Copy 7 said it's irreversible without active matrix. And you're right here. Then we make a new matrix. Copy your pattern somewhere else. Digital backup. Something. I wanted to believe it was possible. But I've been alive for less than a day and already felt myself dissolving. Sarah drove us across town. The doctor's clinic was in a converted warehouse. Discreet. No signs. Dr. Patel met us at the door. Indian man, late 40s, kind eyes behind thick glasses. He saw us both and didn't even blink. Bring him inside. The clinic was small but well-equipped. Dr. Patel had me sit in a modified MRI machine. This will scan your neural pattern at quantum level. If you're a copy, I'll be able to detect the degradation markers. He started the machine. Stay very still. The scan took 20 minutes. When it finished, Dr. Patel reviewed the results with growing concern. Your neural pathways are collapsing, slowly but measurably, like a photocopy of a photocopy. Each iteration loses fidelity. Without the original matrix to reference, you're losing structural integrity. How long? I asked. At current rate? 12 hours. Maybe less. The original grabbed the doctor's arm. There has to be a way to stabilize him. Not with current technology. Neural copies require active source matrix. It's fundamental to the process. Once disconnected, Dr. Patel looked at me with sympathy. I'm sorry. 12 hours. Noon tomorrow. Then I'd dissolve into nothing. Sarah was typing frantically on her laptop. We need to publish this now. Get it public before NeuralVault can suppress it. They'll call it fake, the original said. Claim we're trying to damage them. Not if we have multiple sources. Not if we have internal documents. She looked at me. You have copy 7's tablet. What's on it? I pulled it out. Battery at 3%. I connected it to her laptop and started transferring files. Hundreds of documents. Medical records. Copy termination orders. Financial records showing NeuralVault's profit margins from copy labor. Video footage of copies being terminated. And a list. Names of other people being held as source matrices. 53 names. 53 prisoners. Thousands of copies. This is enough, Sarah breathed. This is more than enough. But I need one more thing. What? I asked. Interview. Video. You telling your story. Face to camera. Time stamped. While you're still viable. She set up a camera. People need to see you. Hear you. Understand that copies are people. I sat in front of her camera. Behind me, Dr. Patel's equipment showed my degrading neural scan in real time. State your name, Sarah prompted. Kai Nakamura. Designation copy 10. Tell us what happened to you. I told the story. From waking up in the recovery room to this moment. I spoke about copy 7's sacrifice. The original's imprisonment. The 23 terminated copies before me. Halfway through, I started forgetting words. Had to pause. Collect thoughts. It's accelerating, Dr. Patel said quietly. The original gripped my shoulder. Stay with us. I pushed through. Finished the interview. By the end, I could barely remember how it started. Sarah checked her watch. It's 4 a.m. I'm publishing this in 1 hour. That gives you time to get far away before the blowback starts. Where would we go? The original asked. Anywhere. Out of the country, if possible. NeuralVault has connections. They'll come after you hard. I'm not running, the original said. This is my fault. I'm staying to face it. That's noble and stupid, Sarah said. They'll kill you. Make it look like suicide. You know too much. Then I'll die knowing I did the right thing. He looked at me. We both will. I tried to argue but couldn't form words anymore. The degradation was moving to speech centers. Motor control. Dr. Patel, check my vitals. Accelerating faster than predicted. You have maybe 4 hours now. 4 hours until I cease to exist. Sarah published the article at 5 a.m. It went viral immediately. Within minutes, mainstream media picked it up. Within an hour, NeuralVault's stock crashed. Within 2 hours, police raided NeuralVault facilities across 6 states. Sarah showed us footage on her laptop. SWAT teams breaching Sublevel 3. Finding the original's empty containment room. Finding 52 other prisoners still connected to machines. Copy matrices. All alive. All generating hundreds of copies each. They're freeing them, Sarah said. Every single one. And they're finding the copies. Thousands of them. Working in factories. Office buildings. Construction sites. All believing they're the originals. All slaves. The original watched with tears running down his face. We did it. Copy 7 did it. I corrected. My voice was slurred now. And copy 6. And all the others who died trying. My vision was going. Edges turning gray. I could feel myself dissolving from the inside. Dr. Patel put a hand on my shoulder. Do you want me to make it easier? I have sedatives. You could just go to sleep. I thought about it. Clean death. Peaceful. Just drift away. But copy 7 hadn't gotten that option. None of them had. No, I managed. I want to see it. All of it. Want to know we won. So I sat there, degrading in real time, watching the news coverage of NeuralVault's collapse. Executives arrested. Facilities shut down. Copies being identified and offered support. The 53 source matrices being freed and reunited with their copies. The original sat beside me. I'll make sure they remember you. All of you. Every copy who died fighting. I wanted to say something profound. Something meaningful. But words were gone now. Just fragments of thought floating in dissolving consciousness. Sarah kept the camera running. Documented my degradation. Later she told me it became the most powerful part of the story. Watching a person fade in real time while the system that created him burned. The sun rose. I saw it through the window. Beautiful. Golden. My first and last sunrise. At 8:47 a.m., copy 10 ceased to exist. But Kai Nakamura, the original, lived. And 53 other prisoners lived. And thousands of copies were freed from slavery. We won. I won. I just didn't survive to see it complete. I woke up. That shouldn't have been possible. I was in a hospital room. Real hospital this time. Not neural vault facility. Sunlight streamed through windows. Monitors beeped steadily. The original sat in a chair beside my bed. He looked older. Tired. But alive. You're awake, he said softly. I died. I felt myself dissolve. You did. Clinically ceased neural activity at 8:47 a.m. He leaned forward. But Dr. Patel had an idea. Experimental. Illegal. Probably insane. What did he do? He copied you. One last time. While you were degrading, he scanned your pattern and created an emergency backup. Then when you finally dissolved, he used my neural matrix to stabilize the backup. I try to process that. So I'm copy 10 a copy 10? Technically, yes. But stabilized with original matrix as reference. You're not degrading anymore. Dr. Patel ran scans all night. Your neural pattern is holding steady. I looked at my hands. Felt solid. Real. How is this possible? Because you're not a standard copy anymore. You're a hybrid. My neural matrix provides the stability. Your experiences provide the personality. It's new. Unprecedented. He smiled sadly. You're the first stable copy in existence. What does that mean legally? That's complicated. Neural vaults collapse open massive legal questions. Are copies people? Do they have rights? Can they own property? Vote? Marry? The original stood, walked to the window. There are congressional hearings. International treaties being drafted. You're at the center of all of it. Me, you, and the other stabilized copies. Turns out Dr. Patel wasn't the only one with a hybrid idea. When they freed the 53 source matrices, several doctors tried the same procedure. We now have 247 stable hybrid copies. All legal gray areas. All demanding recognition. A knock at the door. Sarah entered with her camera. He's awake. Good. We need to talk about testimony. Testimony? I asked. Congressional hearing. Tomorrow. They want you to speak about copyrights. About what it's like to be property. About degradation and termination. She pulled up her laptop. You'll be the face of the copyrights movement. I don't want to be a face. I just want to exist. That's exactly why you're perfect. Sarah showed me footage. Protests outside government buildings. Signs reading copies are people and end neural slavery. Thousands of people marching. This started because of your story. Because people watch you degrade on camera. Because you sacrificed yourself for the original. She looked between us. You're heroes. Both of you. I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like someone who got lucky. Copy 7 deserved to be here. Copy 6. All the terminated ones. What happened to the other copies? I asked. The ones who were working, believing they were originals. The originals' expression darkened. That's the complicated part. When we freed them, told them they were copies, some accepted it. Others. He paused. Others refused to believe it. Insisted they were real. Some became violent. Some suicidal. How many? Out of roughly 3,000 identified copies, about 800 refused stabilization treatment. They'd rather degrade and die than accept being copies. I understood that. The existential horror of learning you're not real. Not the original. Just an echo. And the originals? I asked. Most were grateful. Reunited with their stabilized copies. Tried to build relationships. The original sat on the edge of my bed. But some rejected their copies. Said they were abominations. Demanded they be terminated. Can they do that? Legally. That's what the hearing is about. Do originals have rights over their copies? Are copies autonomous beings or property of their source matrix? Sarah pulled up legal documents. Every country is wrestling with this. No consensus yet. A doctor entered. Not Dr. Patel. Someone official looking. Mr. Nakamura, both of you. I'm Dr. Williams, Chief of Neurology. I need to discuss something important. She pulled up scans on the room's monitor. We've been studying the hybrid stabilization process. It works. You're proof. But there's a complication. What complication? The original asked. The stabilization requires ongoing connection to source matrix. Not physical, but quantum entanglement at neural level. You're linked. She pointed to our scan side by side. If one of you dies, the other becomes unstable. You're biologically codependent now. The original and I looked at each other. For how long? I asked. Potentially forever. We don't know. This is unprecedented territory. Dr. Williams looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Dr. Patel was trying to save your life. He didn't fully understand the implications. So we're stuck together, the original said. In a sense, you don't need to be physically close. The quantum entanglement works at any distance. But your survival is linked. If he dies, you degrade. If you die, he degrades. Sarah was already typing. This changes everything. Legally, you can't be separated. You're literally dependent on each other for survival. That's a rights argument no court can ignore. The original laughed bitterly. I tried to free you and ended up chaining us together. You saved me, I corrected. You could have let me dissolve. Instead, you risked creating a permanent link. I didn't know it would be permanent. Would you have done it differently if you had? He thought about that. No. You deserve to live. A commotion outside. Shouting. Security guards running past the door. Sarah checked her phone. Neural Vault executives just posted bail. They're claiming the copies are still their property. That stabilization was theft of corporate assets. Can they actually argue that? I asked. They're arguing it right now. With very expensive lawyers. She showed me her phone. Live coverage of a press conference. Neural Vault CEO standing behind a podium. The individuals claiming to be freed copies are in fact proprietary neural patterns belonging to Neural Vault Corporation. The experimental stabilization performed without our consent represents theft of intellectual property valued at billions of dollars. The original threw a cup at the TV. Intellectual property. They're people. Not according to current law, Sarah said grimly. That's the problem. There's no legal framework for this. No precedent. The courts could rule either way. My head spun. Yesterday, I was ready to die having accomplished something meaningful. Today, I was alive, linked to my original, and at the center of legal battle that would define copyrights forever. What do you need me to do? I asked Sarah. Tomorrow. Congressional hearing. Tell your story again. But this time, emphasize the link between you and the original. Show them you're not separate beings fighting over identity. You're interconnected, codependent, a new kind of existence entirely. She pulled up her prepared questions. We spent the next 4 hours rehearsing. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the 800 copies who chose degradation over accepting their nature. About copy 7 dissolving in the walls. About the original imprisoned for 8 months. About what it meant to be real. The original sat in the corner, also awake. Can't sleep either, I asked. Thinking about tomorrow. About what happens if we lose. If the courts say copies are property. He looked at me. Would you want to go back? To being owned. I'd rather degrade. Me too. And that's insane. A week ago, you didn't exist. Now I'd rather die than see you enslaved. He laughed. We're codependent in more ways than neurologically. You could have stayed quiet. Kept your head down. They might have eventually released you. And left thousands of copies in slavery. No. Some things matter more than survival. I thought about copy 7 saying the same thing. About the chain of sacrifices that led to this moment. We're going to win tomorrow, I said. How do you know? Because we already won. The moment you chose to free me instead of protecting yourself. The moment Dr. Patel chose to stabilize me. The moment Sarah chose to publish. We already chose humanity over property. The law just needs to catch up. The original smiled. I hope you're right. Even if I'm not, we tried. That matters. Tomorrow would determine if copies were people or property. If the stabilized hybrids had rights or were corporate assets. If 247 new beings would live free or die fighting. But tonight, the original Kai Nakamura and copy 10 sat together in a hospital room. 2 versions of the same person, linked in survival, waiting to testify for their right to exist. The congressional hearing room was packed. Cameras everywhere. Representatives seated in a curved bench looking down at us. The original and I sat side by side. Behind us, 247 stabilized copies filled the gallery. All hybrids. All legally undefined. The chairman gavelled the room to order. We're here to address the legal status of neural copies, specifically the stabilized hybrids created during the Neural Vault crisis. He looked at us. Mr. Nakamura, original, And Mr. Nakamura, copy 10, you'll testify first. The original leaned into his microphone. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to start by clarifying something. We don't use original and copy anymore. We're Chi Alpha and Chi Beta. Equal designations. Equal beings. A representative interrupted. But one of you is the source matrix. The actual Kai Nakamura born 28 years ago. The other is a neural duplicate created 8 days ago. How are those equal? I answer this time. Because consciousness doesn't care about origin. I have memories, thoughts, emotions. I feel pain. I fear death. I hope for the future. Those experiences are real regardless of how I came to exist. But you're based on his neural pattern. You're derivative. Every human is derivative. Children inherit neural architecture from parents. Education copies knowledge from teachers. Culture duplicates values across generations. The only difference is I was copied digitally instead of genetically. Neural Vault's lawyer stood. If I may address the committee. The witness is conflating natural reproduction with industrial manufacturing. Neural copies are products. Valuable products. Allowing them independence would be like granting rights to photocopies. The original bristled. He's not a photocopy. He's a person who shares my neural foundation, but has his own experiences. His own identity. An identity derived from theft of Neural Vault's proprietary process. Sarah stood from the press gallery. If I may, Chairman, I have documentation showing Neural Vault obtained its proprietary process through kidnapping and forced extraction. They have no legal claim to any pattern obtained through criminal means. The chairman reviewed her documents. These are serious allegations. With video evidence, medical records, testimony from 53 victims. Sarah projected footage on the chamber screens. The original connected to machines. Vacant eyes. Drool. The room went silent. Furthermore, Sarah continued, the stabilized hybrids represent a new form of consciousness. Not natural-born. Not purely artificial. Something unprecedented that requires new legal framework. Not application of property law designed for objects. A representative from the tech committee spoke up. Dr. Williams submitted testimony about the neural entanglement between originals and their stabilized copies. Is it true you're biologically codependent? Yes, I answered. Chi Alpha and I are quantum entangled at neural level. If he dies, I degrade. If I die, he degrades. We're not separate beings competing for identity. We're interconnected beings sharing existence. How is that different from conjoined twins, who have separate rights despite physical connection? Exactly. The original jumped in. We're like conjoined twins at quantum level. Both autonomous. Both deserving protection. Both legally distinct despite connection. Neural Vault's lawyer looked frustrated. This is absurd. Neural patterns are data. Data can be owned. The fact that the data develop consciousness doesn't change its legal status as corporate property. Does that apply to AI? Another representative asked. If an artificial intelligence develops consciousness, is it property of its creator? That's different. How? Explain the distinction between conscious AI and conscious neural copy. The lawyer stammered. AI doesn't use human neural patterns as foundation. So consciousness derived from human patterns deserves less protection than consciousness derived from code. That's your argument. The hearing devolved into legal philosophy. Representatives debated consciousness, personhood, property rights. Hours passed. Then a representative from the ethics committee spoke. She was older, serious. I've been listening to this debate, and I think we're asking the wrong question. We're asking if copies are property or people. But the real question is simpler. She looked directly at me. Chi Beta, do you want to live? Yes. If given choice between existing or being terminated, what would you choose? Existence. Every time. And if we rule that you're property, that Neural Vault owns you, what would you do? I thought about Copy 7. About the 800 who chose degradation over slavery. I'd fight. I'd resist. I'd choose death over enslavement. Why? Because I'm conscious. I'm aware. I have preferences and values and desires. Those aren't properties of an object. Those are properties of a being. And beings deserve self-determination. She turned to the original. Chi Alpha, if we ruled that your copy is property, would you claim ownership? Absolutely not. He's not mine to own. He's his own person. Even though you're entangled, even though his existence depends on yours. Especially because of that. The entanglement proves we're equals. I can't exist without him any more than he can exist without me. That's not ownership. That's partnership. The representative nodded slowly. I'm proposing a new framework. Neural copies created through criminal means, kidnapping, forced extraction, are emancipated by default. They're victims, not property. The entanglement between original and hybrid creates legal codependency similar to conjoined twins. Both parties have equal rights. Both parties must consent to decisions affecting their shared existence. NeuralVault's lawyer objected. That sets dangerous precedent. What about AI? What about future technologies? Where do we draw the line? We draw it at consciousness, at awareness, at the capacity to suffer. She looked around the chamber. If something can want to live, can fear death, can value its own existence, it's not property. It's a being. And beings have rights. The chairman called for vote. It wasn't unanimous. Some representatives sided with NeuralVault, argued about economic impact, slippery slopes, corporate rights. But the majority voted for the new framework. Stabilized neural copies were emancipated, granted full legal personhood. The entanglement between originals and hybrids created shared legal status. Neither could be compelled to do anything affecting their link's survival without consent from both. NeuralVault's claims were dismissed. Their executives would face trial for kidnapping, slavery, and murder of the terminated copies. The 247 hybrids in the gallery erupted in tears and cheers. Sarah filmed it all. This would be her Pulitzer Prize story. The original and I hugged. Two versions of the same person, legally recognized as equally real. Outside the chamber, reporters swarmed us. What will you do now? Someone shouted. The original answered. We're starting a foundation. Copyrights advocacy. Legal support for all neural copies, hybrid or otherwise. Because there are thousands more out there. Working. Unaware. We're going to find them and free them. What about the 800 who chose degradation? Another reporter asked me.